Hello everyone, and welcome to my first series for Europa Universalis 4. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about my experience with Paradox Grand Strategy games, and that is that I have played the tutorial for Europa Universalis 4 and about an hour or two of proper gameplay with the Ottoman Empire. And that is it. That is the extent of my experience with Paradox Grand Strategy games. That being said, I think I do have a basic grasp of how this game plays. So for this first series, there will probably be a lot of mistakes because I am a brand new player, but I will try to go over the game mechanics for everybody who is also new to the Europa Universalis game as we play, so you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing. So yeah, I will try to explain them as best as I can, but know now that what I tell you may not be right, but I'm going to try my best to explain it. So we're going to jump into single player. And the way the game is set up is that it is broken up into different starting periods of time that you can choose here. And I think it goes, what, from 1444, what does it end? The last one is in 1792. That is quite a long amount of time from start to end. I'm not sure like what the final year of this game actually is, but that's the final start date that you can have. And what's kind of cool is that you can kind of notice, like we'll start here, that this game gives you what they consider to be interesting empires to play as in this time period. And for the rise of the Ottomans, you can see that the Ottomans are recommended for new players, as are the Castile, which eventually becomes Spain, France, and I think England? I guess that's not recommended, but it should still be pretty easy. We can click on it. You can see the difficulty over here, and a bunch of other information I'll explain here as best I can in a moment. But the thing is, you're not restricted to just these countries in each time period. These are just the countries that the developers of this game thought would be interesting to play as, and probably one of the easier ones to play as. So we're going to do Rise of the Ottomans, start at the very beginning of this game, and I am going to change the world map to the political map mode, which shows you who actually controls what. So we can see Castile, you can see Morocco, Algiers, Tripoli, Ottomans, Lithuania, Hungary, all of them. For this first game, I'm going to choose what is considered an easy race, but one that I have not seen before, because I have watched some gameplay of this game, and a lot of people have chosen. I've seen like Poland, I've seen a lot of Castile, a lot of England and France, all those guys. I've even seen the Ottomans a couple times. So the one I have not seen yet, personally, is Ming, and Ming also shows that it's a very easy faction to play in this time period, which, well, also, as an aside, the music of this game is amazing. I'm sure you can hear it right now. But since this is my first game, I do kind of want to pick an easy race, even though my natural instinct is to go for something challenging. If I go for something hard, like let's click on Tibet. Look at that, difficulty is almost max. I'd probably lose pretty quickly. It'd be embarrassing. I may not even learn that much. So I am going to choose Ming. It's probably going to be an easy game, but I think that's best for me right now. After Ming, I'll probably choose something harder, because I don't really enjoy steamrolling over everybody. That's not really my play style. Alright, so again, you don't have to choose the races that they give you. You can choose anybody. I could choose, I don't know, what's a very small place. We can scroll in all the way up here. Like these guys. Sukthotai. My pronunciations, by the way, are going to be probably pretty terrible. But, yeah, so you can choose them if you want to be them. But, yeah, we're going to choose Ming, and let's look at what Ming has here. So, Ming is a celestial empire, which means that the ruler is going to reign until that ruler is dead. So, that's okay. Independent nation. Okay, so, this game has different technology groups. And the basic technology group, I guess I can show you on this map here, is going to be Western. And Western technology is at 100% cost. Anything that's not Western is basically more expensive to research technology. So for Ming, being a Chinese group, we have an additional 60% more expensive than any Western countries in terms of raising up our technology. So that's kind of bad, but I'm sure we have other advantages. Our religion is Confucian, which I'm sure gives a bonus, but I don't know what that is yet. And okay, so this is our starting emperor. And our emperor has one administrative, one diplomatic, and one military. I think our country as a base has 2, 2, and 2. And then Chinese ideas. So, again, I'm new to this, but I believe every single country has a set of ideas, and I guess this kind of just breaks it down here. And ideas are things you can research in the game, I believe. Like, we could, I guess, eventually repair the Great Wall, which it has some kind of, like, you know, lore. And then the thing that matters is that it increases our fort defenses by 15%, which I guess that's good. I don't know enough about the game to say if that is the case or not. Discipline, I don't know exactly what that is yet. Stability cost, so yeah, I guess this is just all of our ideas that we could research as the Ming Celestial Empire. But we'll probably get into this later in the game. Alright, so let's just jump in. We will click play. Oh, hold on. Let me go to options first. Ah, yes, okay, so this is where you can dictate if the AI gets bonuses, what the AI difficulty is. Lucky Nations. Grants certain AI nations special luck bonuses. So historical is going to give 8 historically successful nations luck. I'm assuming that means like France, Spain, England. Random will give 8 randomly determined nations weighted towards larger, more advanced powers. Wait a minute. The historically powerful nations are going to get luck with historical, but then random is going to do 8 random powerful nations, which most likely are going to be really overlapping with the historical, so that's not really random at all. Shouldn't random be weighted towards, like, anybody, not just the... Oh, well, whatever. I'll do random. Maybe this way, like, France and England won't become powers or something crazy like that. Okay, what else is here? Allow players to hot join. We're not going to be doing any multiplayer, so whatever. Terra Incognita. Enables or disables Terra Incognita in the lobby. Especially useful if you not want to spoil how the random new world looks before you discover it. Okay, I think Terra, that's like Fog of War, I believe is what that is. We will not be giving the AI any bonuses for our first playthrough. Maybe in a later playthrough we will, and I will keep the AI difficulty to normal. So let's just click accept. Iron Man mode, I think, is for players who want achievements. I think the only way to get achievements is with Iron Man mode, and also you can't save scum, I think, with Iron Man mode. Let's see, limits the number of save files per game to 1. Okay, there you go, yep. It's non-optional and frequent autosaving. Cannot switch countries. I guess I'll click it. I don't plan on save scumming. I don't enjoy save scumming, so one save file for this game is good enough for me. I'll do Iron Man mode, I guess. Let's finally click play. Save game file name. Ming Iron Man. So this could go terribly. This could be a very short series or a very long one, I'm not sure. Oh boy, okay. So we're now in the game proper, we can zoom all the way out, and this is the Terra Incognita, as you can see right here. This is the Fog of War. Our nation of Ming knows absolutely nothing about anything out here. Alright, so what I will be playing as, or in what view I will be playing as, is depicted by these tabs down here. I'm going to be playing mostly in the political map view, so it makes it easy to see what powers are what. And actually, let me actually lower the music volume a little bit more. It's great, but it's kind of overwhelming in my ears right now. Alright, so I'm going to be mostly playing in the political map view. Map view. This game is so amazing. It's very deep and allows you to customize a lot of options. So these are all the map views. You got terrain, you got political, so you can see who controls what. We have trade, which honestly, trade is something I don't understand completely in this game yet. But there are trade nodes, and I guess I can just go over this right now, what little I know. And it shows you what your current trade power is for this trade node. And it shows other nodes and the trade that's being pushed from those nodes and the path that they are taking. So, again, I'm not 100% sure on what is going on with the trade, but from what I understand, trade is flowing down this trade route, and you can see right here that 0.25 ducats is being sent from this trade node into this one, which we have a higher trading power. And I think with a higher trading power, you collect more income from that trade node. And I think we also control the one up here too. Well, we have 11.18, but again, I'm not exactly sure what that means. So we'll just we'll brush over this a little bit later as I set up our merchants. Another map view that I actually chose is opinions. So this is a nice map mode to see very quickly what people think of you. So like the orange is people hate you. If I hover over that, you can see their opinion of Ming is -80. I think it goes down to like -200 and then a positive of 200, maybe around the max of the opinions. So that's pretty low. This Oriat Horde is also pretty low. These guys are pretty low. Korea is actually okay with us. That's cool. Tibet's all like, nah. These guys are like, nah. So basically it looks like, with the darker colors, a lot of our neighbors don't like us. And I think Japan basically doesn't care either way. So that's kind of a cool map mode. Then you have the religious map mode, which shows you, well, where the religions are. Like, we know that Ming is Confucian, and we can see that this nation up here of Manchu is also Confucian, and Korea is Confucian. So that kind of tells you what you want your allies to be, possibly. I think it's best to ally with similarly religious nations, so I'm probably going to look to have an ally with Korea, and maybe Manchu. We'll get to that in a bit. And then diplomatic map mode. Diplomatic map mode. Ah, okay, so if you click on a power, like we now select me, you'll see that this province down here is all lined up. So in diplomatic map mode, it shows you what countries are considered your core provinces. So Ming considers this province to be a core, and you can actually see this is the province right here, cores and claims. Ming considers us to be one of the core provinces. So what that means is that if we want to go to war, we have a reason to go to war over this province right there, because we consider that to be a core province. But we'll kind of get to that in a little bit. So I'm going to mostly stick with political map mode. And in the beginning of the game, you can see that the game is paused. This game, the way that it plays is that it is constantly in motion. There are multiple speed settings up here from 1 to 5. 5 makes the years just fly by really fast. So this is probably going to be slower gameplay in the beginning. Okay, so we went over the map modes. What else do you want to do? I guess we can open up our civilization tabs here. So government, we are a celestial empire. We know that what that does. So being a celestial empire, I think, gives us a national revolt risk of a -3. So I guess that's pretty cool. You can see our emperor stats right here. Okay, let me talk about this right now. So this right here is attributed or sent to here. So let me hover over these different powers. I think these are called monarch points. So you have administrative power. We're getting a monthly increase of +3, and that monthly increase is going to be shown up here in our collective power. So this is how much we're getting per month. This is how much we currently have. So administrative power, we're getting a base of 3, and because of our emperor's administrative skill, which is 1, it adds 1, but I guess being Chinese negates it by 1. So we're at 3, 3, and 3. Now to raise these, we can wait for our heir to become king, or emperor, I guess. And our heir has 1, 1, 2. So our heir is actually better than our king is. So whenever our king dies, or emperor dies, I'm sorry, and this guy takes control, our military is going to be increased. We can also hire advisors. So you click on that empty slot, and then you get a random 3 advisors. And then they each have a level. So this guy would give us +2 to our administrative skill every single month. But you can see his monthly cost is 8 ducats. If I hover over our treasury up here, you can see that we are at +27.82 ducats a month. So like +8 for this guy is pretty damn expensive. And these guys are all level 2, so they're all really expensive. I'm actually looking for a level 1 guy who would just give us +1, so I think I'm not going to hire any of these guys. Let's check our diplomatic advisors. Diplomatic, we have a level 3, 2, and a 1. So you can kind of see the difference here. Level 3, which is giving you additional 3 diplomatic skill per month, is 18 monthly. Level 2 is 8, and level 1 is 2. But you can see that each one of these guys also give another bonus. Like this guy will give us better relations over time, +30%. So that seems kind of cool if you want to have foreign powers be our friends. We have a global trade power +10%. Global trade. Again, trade is not something I have 100% knowledge on, so I'm not sure if I'd grab that guy or not. But I'm actually probably going to go for this guy because he's just cheaper. Diplomatic reputation. A skilled politician, highly efficient in governmental matters and responsible of the state. I guess that would help our diplomacy as well. But I think for right now, we're going to just grab this diplomat right here. So there we go. We're going to hire him. So now we are paying this guy 2 a month, but he is giving us 1 additional diplomatic power. And from what I understand, you can kind of look at these as like a currency. From the gameplay that I've seen, you can lose and gain these different points through different random events that will happen that you will probably see in this series. Administrative, diplomatic, and military power are also used in things like war. Diplomatic actions obviously would use diplomatic power, so like to force or to ask for like peace could cost like 50 diplomatic power. To go to war could cost 50 military power. To hire generals for your armies costs military power. And administrative power, I'm not exactly sure what that governs. But anyway, the other thing though is that these three things go into your technology for your race. So if you go to our technology tree, you can see we have administrative technology, diplomatic technology, and military technology. Now as China, we start pretty backwards, quote unquote. I think the Western empires, you know, Europe and all them, or the European powers start with like level 3 or level 4 technologies in all of these trees, and we're starting at level 2. And on top of that, to increase our tech is an additional 60% more than what the Westerns do. So we're going to be really behind on technology. And you can see that this is administrative technology, and if we hover over this, kind of in the middle of this little box, you can see that we need 1,222 power. We only have 39 available. 1,222 power to increase our administrative technology, and also the administrative points could be used in random events and also other things like building buildings, I think. To make buildings in your empire, I think takes administrative power as well. So this means it's going to take a while, because if we go back to our government tab, we're only getting 3 a month. 3 a month, and we need 1,222. That's so long from now. Oh my goodness. And the same thing goes for diplomatic technology. They use your diplomatic power. Again, that's 1,222 to level that up, and the same thing with this one. And you can kind of see what you would get if you level this up. So if we would to level up our military technology to level 3, we would get Earth Rampart, which would give us missionary strength, which missionaries are, I'll get into later, I guess. Supply limits, which each province has a supply limit, meaning how many troops can be stationed there without taking any damage to your army. And then fort level, I'm assuming, increases your defenses in province, and land morale. So you can kind of see what you'll get in every single technology. And honestly, I don't know what is very important yet for the Ming specifically. For the Western powers, the European powers who are looking to colonize America, I think the diplomatic technology is best, because that is your naval and exploration technology that allows you to colonize America, I think. But obviously, as the Ming Empire, we are not going to be looking to colonize America, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to try to focus yet. Whew, okay. What else can we go through here? Our economy tab, well, it breaks down your economy. You can see we're getting plus 26.71, which is also reflected up here. No, that's not the same. Last month was... And the previous monthly balance was 25. So I think that's the previous monthly income, and then this is what we'll get this month? Balance is the income minus the expenses. Yeah, so this must be what we're getting this month right now. So you can see right here, we have missionary maintenance, army maintenance, and fleet maintenance. At full cost, your army and fleet will suffer no morale penalties. If you lower this, you will get more money a month, but you can see that the morale of the army is dropping. Like right now, it's minus 1.55. I think this is a thing you can do if you are in peace, but if you're going to be going to war, you need your army to be fully funded so that their morale does not drop. So right now I'm not going to really mess with that. I'm just going to keep these at max for right now. You can also take loans out from here, which I think you have to pay those back in. Yes, you can take a 5-year loan. So after 5 years, you're going to have to pay that loan back. I'm not sure if we wanted to take any loans, at least not right now. We have a ton of money, we have a ton of income coming in, so we don't have to worry about loans. Okay, ideas. So ideas, I think, is what makes each nation very special and unique, and can make every single playthrough unique. Because you can see here, we unlock this first slot at National Ideas rank 4. So we need to have level 4 of administrative technology to unlock this idea, and then after we unlock this, I think we can choose one of these, and then each one of these has, I think it's around 10 or so different level ups within them that you can then spend these points to unlock and make your country better. We'll get into that later in the series, I guess. But we can only get the first one after we unlock level 4 of administration. And for that, it's going to be this tree right here. We're only at level 2, so that's 2 levels of administration we have to rank up. That's just going to take forever with our Chinese tech here, increasing our tech cost by an additional 60%. That's just going to take forever. But I'm really interested to see or to unlock these ideas, but we're not going to be able to see those for quite a while. And what is this? Our Chinese tradition gives us trade power. Idea costs negative 10%. And when we've gained all the Chinese ideas, we will also gain better relations. Okay. Alright, well, let's go to, Alright, missions and decisions. This is another big part of this game. And after this first episode, I'm going to actually probably start playing, but the first one's just going to be obviously me just talking and explaining some of the game mechanics so that everybody who doesn't know Europa Universalis can follow along when we get into the game proper. Alright, so this is pretty big. So we have missions. We can only select one of these missions at a time. So right now, our current missions that we have, and I think these are basically randomized every time. Liao Qi's culture is different from our own. It makes our people uncomfortable to visit Liao Qi. This should be rectified. So we need to spread our culture, and it tells us exactly what we need to do. In the province of Liao Qi, the culture needs to be Han. I'm not exactly sure what Liao Qi is. Let me zoom in here so we get the actual province names. Is Liao Qi within our domain? You know what, I can actually show you an easy way to look at that. If we go to... none of these map modes are what I'm looking for. So if you click on this button, you actually see there are other map modes, and you can make any of these your active map modes up here if you want to. Culture map mode, that's what I want. Alright, so culture. You can see that Ming's culture is Han, and we also have some Cantonese, I guess? That's true. I guess it doesn't really tell us where that province is. Wait, Liao Qi, is this it? Yes. This is what they're talking about, right? Let me go back to that screen. So that's... Okay, so we need to convert the culture from this. Is that even our province? Let's go back to the political map mode. That is our province. So this province, right here, culture is Manchu. Religion is Confucian, so that's the same. Okay, so to convert this to a Han culture, we need 125 diplomatic power to change the culture of this province. You can see that we only have 39 power, so that's going to take some time. But that's another example of what, you know, these points up here are spent to. They're not just for technology, they are also for running your empire. So you kind of need to be smart about your choices. But that is possible. All we need to do is let time pass. We will eventually get enough diplomatic power to change this culture. What will we get as a reward? You can select that here. We would earn 10 diplomatic power. Huh. I don't even know if that's really worth it. So we would gain 10 diplomatic power, but the thing is, to convert this, we would need to spend 125. So I don't know why that would be something we want to do, other than the fact that having everybody under the same culture is a good thing. Like right now, we're getting minus 15% to our tax modifier because this is not our culture, and our manpower modifier, which manpower is a... I'll get to that in a second, is also being affected because it's not the Han culture. So I guess we would want to convert this anyway, and at least this way we would get some kind of reward out of it. And to get 10 diplomatic power points, that basically takes a little over 3 months with the amount of research we have right now, or the amount that we're getting right now. So that may be a possibility. That's a pretty easy mission we can do. We could also form an alliance with Korea, which all we have to do to have this be successful is, well, form an alliance with Korea. And for that, we would get 10 prestige and diplomatic power, 25 diplomatic power. So let's go quickly over what prestige is. Prestige is represented up here, and we're currently at 4.95, and we're currently dropping... Okay, so prestige affects many things, but primarily how likely other nations are to accept our proposals, and how likely it is that our royal marriages will result in personal unions. Personal unions, I believe, is kind of like vassalization. There is a head of a union, and there are people below that head in the union, and everyone below is basically, I think, considered like vassals, I think. Alright, so some effects we get from prestige. You can see that it affects our trade, our morale of our armies, navies, mercenaries if we were to hire any, our spy defense, fort defense. So there's a lot of things that prestige covers, so having a high prestige I think is going to be a good thing. And I think this should be pretty easy. Let's actually look at Korea right now and see how easy it would become to become allies. So right now, Korea's attitude towards us is threatened. They view us as a threat to their independence. They will seek to ally with us for their own safety, but may seek strong allies elsewhere if this fails, and they are currently at a plus 21. Plus 25 because we share the same religion, but minus 4 because we have borders with each other. But they are willing to trust us somewhat. I mean, it even says right here that they will look to make allies with people they're threatened with, so that could probably be an easy thing. So let's go here and let's accept this form alliance with Korea, because it would gain 10 prestige and 25 diplomatic power, which 25 diplomatic power, I mean, will take forever to even get, so that's a huge jump for us. So we'll click accept, and you can now see we are now on this mission. We can't accept any others. And then you have national decisions. I don't even think I can do any of these yet because they are all grayed out. So to form the Chinese nation, before we can even accept it, we would need to... Wow, we would have to have our technology group be considered Western and not Chinese. And that is a mechanic in this game called Westernization. And to become a Westernized, if you are not a Westernized technology already, you have to share a border with a country that is Westernized. And then it takes a certain amount of time to become Westernized, but eventually your country will change its technology to Western. And then I guess after that, that's all we need, and then we could actually form the Chinese nation. But that's not probably going to happen for a long time, because I don't think anybody in this area has Western technology. I think the closest one, my gosh, it's going to be in Europe, probably. So that's going to take a while. Construct the Forbidden City. To be able to do this, we would need to have a statesman advisor of at least skill level 3. The ruler of our empire has to be administrative skill of at least 3, which I don't think we have. But only one of those must be true, so we either need the statesman or the ruler, so the statesman would probably be the easiest one. One of the following must be true. The bureaucratic faction is a ruling faction, which that currently is the case. I'll go over the factions here in a little bit, because that's kind of a thing that's unique to the Ming power in this game, is these factions. And then Ming has stability of at least 3, which you don't have. Stability is represented right here. You can see we're at plus 0. Must have at least that much money, and administrative power of at least 50, which is pretty easy to get. We can actually construct... Well, what would be the reward? We would lose money, we would lose power. We would get the Forbidden City until 1821. It is currently 1444, so we're going to have that for quite some time. And as long as we have that, our stability cost modifier, the cost needed to increase the stability, because that's something that you actually pay for, is going to be decreased by minus 10, and your yearly prestige will go up by 0.5 every year because of that. That seems kind of cool. But we can't fulfill any of these things yet because we don't reach or have any of the prerequisites, so I will now exit out of that. But I think this is a possibility that we can do here in the near future. So we talked a little bit about stability. So this is our stability and expansion tab. Okay, so in here you will see the war exhaustion, which we won't mess around with until we're actually in a war, because that's when it's going to be important. And then here we have stability. So right now we're currently at 0. And stability, kind of like prestige, affects a lot of things. You can see that this affects our national revolt risk, because there are rebels in this game that can revolt against you and you have to fight them down. It affects our national tax modifier, our stability cost modifier, our missionary strength, which again, I'll get into missionaries here in a bit, and then Temple's faction influence. Temple's faction is another faction in the Ming Empire, which I'm going to show you in a bit as well. And then if you get to plus... Oh, we can't actually see what the bonuses are going to be. But anyway, you want this to be in the positives because it's going to affect all of those things in a positive way. If it's in the negative, which can happen through random events, generally through random events, then, well, your national revolt risk will go up, your taxes will go down, so you typically want a high stability. Okay, so I talked a little bit about the factions of Ming. You can get to the factions through this tab right here. And this is something I really don't understand that much yet, again, because I'm new, and this thing is specifically unique to the Ming Empire as far as I can tell. So we have a eunuch faction, which I think if we hover... Okay, so the eunuch faction would give us an additional merchant, would increase our global trade power, national trade income, advisor costs would go down by 100%, technology costs would go down by 75%, which may be huge, and diplomatic relations would go up by plus 4. But for those to take effect, I think this has to be the dominant faction in our empire. Right now, you can see that the bureaucratic faction has a 99.98 influence, meaning they are the dominant. You can see right there, it says leading faction. So I think this is the only faction that we're getting bonuses from right now. We can increase these if we boost, and to boost their influence in our empire, we would have to spend 10 diplomatic points to gain 10 influence. You can see that passively, we're getting a 0.1 influence per month because of our Navy tradition, whatever that is. And here we're getting 0.1 because of our Army tradition. And here the influence... Oh, that's not changing by month anyway. Anyway, so as a bureaucratic faction, we are getting an additional tax modifier of plus 50%, which seems kind of cool. It's cheaper to increase our stability of our nation by 50%. We increase our advisors by 1. Increased chance of a new heir by 50%, and religious unity by 50%. That technology thing may be pretty cool, though. Technology cost minus 75% is going to be pretty cool to get our country in line with the rest of the world. Temple faction, manpower recovery speed. I'll go in there or go over that in a little bit. Land force limits modifier. So I'll go over that in a little bit too. Discipline, core create. So this seems like if you want to go to war, you want to have a big military, you want the temples to be in charge. If you want to go down technology and trade, you want the eunuch faction. And then this is for, I guess, just taxes. And that's for, and religious unity, I guess. Okay, so manpower. Let's go over what manpower is. So we have a maximum manpower, which is based on the size of our empire. We currently gain 269 manpower each month. So, why is this important? Okay, so in this game, each regiment that you can create takes 1,000 troops from your manpower score. So when you run out of manpower, you can no longer recruit any more troops. And let me... Can I click on that? No, I can't click on that. Is there a... Alright, yeah, we can talk about this tab. So the important thing about manpower is that if you run out of manpower, you can no longer recruit any troops. You can recruit mercenaries still, though. But as you can see, we have a ton of troops to recruit. We can recruit up to 36 regiments. That's a lot. And if we come down here, we can see that we have a force limit on land. So this means we can only have 36 regiments total recruited right now. We have 27 at the start of the game, but we can have 36, so, I mean, we couldn't even raise 36 armies, or 36 regiments, because we would be over our force limit. Our naval force limit is different. We can have up to 64 ships, which I think is pretty damn huge, and we start off with 40, which again I think is insanely huge compared to other races. That's insane. So yeah, you are limited to your regiments and your navy by these numbers here. I'm not sure how they raise up. Maybe it's through technology or just expanding your empire naturally. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, man, what other things can we go over? Legitimacy. Legitimacy changes by 0.4 because of our prestige value. And legitimacy gives us a negative to national revolt risk. Tolerance of the true faith. Not exactly sure what this tolerance stuff means, but it does improve our diplomatic reputation, so I guess that's kind of cool. I'm assuming you always want to have a high legitimacy. 100 is the maximum, and I'm sure you'll get penalties if this is lower. I guess that would affect our national revolt risk if it was lower, so I guess having a high one is pretty good. Okay, something else we can go over that I have not yet are these, I think they're called envoys. So we have merchants, we have colonists, which we don't have any at the start of the game. We have diplomats, which are needed to, well, do diplomacy. And then we have missionaries. We have one single missionary. So let me go over the missionary first. What their purpose is to convert people to your religion. So if you go to the religion tab, you can see that we are all Confucian. But down here, you can see that there are some lines, meaning that this is not just totally Confucian. This is actually here, Buddhists. So you can see that some of our provinces actually are in the Buddhist faith, and that's not good. You want to have a unified religion in your empire. So what the missionaries can do, if you go to this tab and we go to religion, it's going to show you down here what provinces in your empire are currently not part of your religion, how long it will take to convert them, and then you can just press the send button to send this missionary, sorry, to convert that province. So Dali takes 166 months. That's the quickest one we have, so we're going to send our missionary there. It's going to ask us if we want to send our missionary. It will take 166 months. Yes. So we're going to click OK. So that's it. Our missionary is now taken out of the game for 166 months. We can convert no other people. And I think the only way to get more of these guys is through technologies. I think that's the same thing for all of these people. So it's probably going to be a while until we get another missionary. Alright, diplomats. Let's show what diplomats can do right now. Let's go back to the political map mode. So I want to form an alliance with Korea. We already accepted that mission, so I'm going to click on Korea. Anywhere is fine, and you see that we bring up this province tab. To initiate diplomacy, we're going to click diplomacy. This brings up the diplomacy tab with this nation. So we want to form an alliance. Offer alliance. If a country accepts our alliance offer, it may come to our assistance during wars. And I think this means that they will actually accept our alliance right off the bat. So it's going to take one of our diplomats to actually send this request. So we're going to click send. And you see that one of our diplomats is now being used. So hopefully we'll have an alliance here with Korea very soon. And that should be the end of our mission. So we should get some diplomatic points for that and also an ally. Let me click up in Manchu and see how they feel about us. Because we have one more diplomat and these are the only other people in the world that share our religion, so I kind of want to form alliances with people who share our religion. Oh, but Manchu has a hostile attitude towards us. Open hostility and will seek their conquest and complete annihilation. Diplomacy with a hostile nation is almost always futile, so I guess maybe we will not be allied with the Manchu Empire here. Let me click on diplomacy though, because this will also show you the diplomacy between Manchu and other races. So, they have no enemies, they have no rivals. And this is going over the Casus Belli. We'll get into that a little. Well, can I just get into that right now? I guess I can get into that right now. What's an easy way to explain this? It'd be easier if I saw... I'm looking right here to see if there's any core or claims. That's just not Korea. What else can I how can I show this? If you click on the diplomatic map mode and click on our empire... Aha! Okay. So, when in the diplomatic mode, if you click on your empire, you can see these countries with the white lines. This means that our empire has a core or a claim on this province. And if I click on it, you can see cores and claims. The Champa consider this to be one of their core provinces because Champa now currently owns this. But you can see that Ming considers this to be one of the core provinces. And because we have a core in this province, we can go to war with this nation, and our war will be justified because we have a core. So normally if you just go to war with a nation and you don't have a core or a claim against that nation, then you're going to get negatives because people will view you as just an expansionist. So it's always good to go to war against a country or nation where you at least have a claim or an actual core. Again, you can see that with the diplomatic view. Click on Ming. You can see we also have a core in Taiwan. But this is an uncolonized land, so we can't really conquer that. But if I wanted to, I could go to war with these guys. Our war would be justified because we have a core in this province. Okay, and so that's kind of the big thing about these Casus Belli. That basically means core or claim. Where did I see that at? Diplomacy? Yes, so this is telling us that right now, Manchu has a claim against us. They have a claim against Korea, another claim against us, and another claim against the Mongol Khanate against theirs. So those are, from what I understand, they have a justified reason to go to war against us because of these claims. Now, if you don't have a justified reason to go to war, like let's click on Tibet. You can see we don't have any cores or claims. So if we went to war with Tibet, it would be bad for us. We would get negatives because we're considered expansionists. We have no claims. To change that, though, you can use one of your diplomats, and we'll open up diplomacy with Tibet. And you can... Where is it? You can fabricate a claim against this province. So it will take time, but fabricating a claim before going to war is going to be much better for you than just going to war without a claim. So basically this is our diplomat going there and saying, oh, our fathers' fathers' fathers settled this land thousands of years ago, meaning we have a claim on it, so now our war is justified. So if you want to go to war against somebody that you don't have a core or claim against already, you can just open up the diplomacy, send one of your diplomats to fabricate a claim. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to go to war with Tibet. Alright. So that's going to do it, I think, for the first part, or for this first episode. I know we actually got no gameplay down, but I wanted to show off some of these gameplay mechanics so that when we get into the game proper, everybody can follow along. And know that I am still learning, so if I said things that were wrong, I do apologize, but I am very new to the game myself. So anyway, next time we are actually going to unpause the game, and we're going to hopefully get our alliance with Korea. And since Manchu hates us so much, maybe we'll just go to war with Manchu, you know? Maybe we'll try to find a justified reason to go to war. Do we have a core or claim in any of their provinces? I don't think we do. So, I guess an easy way to check that would be to go to our own diplomacy and see who we do have a claim against. Here we go. So we have a conquest claim against oh, we do. We have a conquest claim against Manchu. Okay, so I guess we could go to war against the Manchu. And then we could do a reconquest claim against Champa, which I showed you a little bit earlier, because we have a core there. So yeah, maybe we will just unify our armies into one massive army and take over Manchu. But we'll see that in the next episode. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and anybody who's a veteran at this game, feel free to give me your advice, because I always appreciate advice, especially when I'm in a new game that I know very little about. And feel free to correct me on anything that I said that was incorrect. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody.